Riddle me this. What's one of the most anticipated lines of 2021 and rhymes with Bauer Hyperlite? Stick around and I'll give you the answer. Alright guys, so I'm here with my new Bauer Hyperlite set. I've really been looking forward to these. And actually, I just came back from a 11-day vacation. I was in Colorado, and the timing just worked out where these actually got in like a day or two before I left. So I really just like looked at them real quick. I definitely didn't have time to try them out or even do this video until now that I got back. So while I had a good time on my vacation, the whole time in the back of my mind I was thinking of this set, and I can't wait to get it on the ice. Haven't done it yet. So this is just the out of the box overview video that I do with all the sets I get. Just mainly going to talk about what these pads are about, the specs, not anything to do with how they feel on the ice, since that's not what I've done yet with them. But yeah, so if you've seen my past videos, I've tried the 1S and the 2S pads. And while I was impressed with them, ultimately it just wasn't the type of pad for me. Nothing against those pads. I think they're really good pads if that's the kind of pad you're looking for. But I've never tried Bauer's Vapor line. So now, while this still says Vapor on the pad, they're mainly calling it the Hyperlite. But it's the continuation basically of their Vapor line. So they had the 1X, the 2X, and now it's this Hyperlite. And if you go by branding or what they say, the Vapor line is what's supposed to be geared towards like me, where it's like the hybrid or more flexible line, that kind of thing. Those lines are all very blurred these days, and a lot of brands' flexible pads I don't consider flexible. But anyway, this is what they put out as their more flexible line, as their hybrid line, whatever. So it wasn't anything on purpose. I just haven't been able to try the Vapor line yet. So I decided to actually order my own custom set, but really it's only custom in color. I didn't really get any stock options on it or whatever. It's pretty much what you would get a stock Hyperlite pad, other than the colors, the graphic. And I got these colors to match the current Panthers colors, because as you know, that's usually what I go with. Panthers colors, either the old good ones or the new current Panthers colors, because I'm a Panther fan and that's what I have my gear made to look like. So let's start off with the leg pads. This is the Hyperlite Bauer leg pad. Now I'm going to show you, I have, whoops, whoa. I have each leg pad set up differently, because there's a lot of personal customization you can do once you get the pad with these. A lot of options they give you, and I love that. Anytime a company does that with their pads, where they give you a lot of options of how you can tweak things and change things to what exactly you like, I think that's great, because almost no two goalies are exactly the same. People like things a little differently, so it's good that they give you more things to play with, that you can really dial the pad into what you like. So you're gonna see two different kind of like strapping setups I'll show you with each leg pad I did, just to show you what's possible with these things. So with this one, this is basically the strapping. How this is how it came out of the box, literally. So you have this knee strap that goes across. You can either do it across the knee, or you can do it down to the calf. I always do my pads down to the calf when given that option, and this easily comes off. It's just a Velcroed loop piece that goes here. You'll see in the other pad I had taken these off, but that's the option it gives you as far as the knee, if you do it across or underneath. And then with the calf area, so this is how it came out of the box. It has this tune fit, is what it's called. I don't know if if you see the name on there. It's called the Tune Fit Strap 2.0. So what you would do is this goes around your calf over to this side, and then you have this other strap that's permanently attached to the pad. This you can't change. It comes over here. Now the Tune Fit strap can be removed. But again, I just want to show you this is how the pad came, and this is one option you can do. And then there's the boot strap, which this one I didn't even, this still has the skate lace tied to it. Let me take that out. So this has a elastic boot strap that can be removed. But I use bootstraps, so I'm going to leave it in. Regardless of this other setup, I always keep the bootstrap in. Personal preference. And then I got this with the skate lace toe ties. They give you different options. They have a bungee type version, like every manufacturer does at this point. You can get it with. I just got these with the skate lace because I plan on putting my aftermarket Koba toe ties on there. But yeah, so that's one way you can strap it, and then I will show you with the other pad another option you can go with. So with this pad, you can see I removed the outer knee flap because let me just say beforehand, this is what I'm going to go with, at least to start the first time I use this. If something doesn't feel right, if something feels off, whatever, I can always tweak it. I can go to the other style, whatever. But so this pad is going to be how I plan on using it, at least for the first time. So I took off the outer flap because I'm going to strap it down to the calf. Then they give you the option to include their version of the Professor strap. I don't know if they have their own name on it. It's not. They don't have it printed on here, but whatever. It's their version of the Professor strap, which the same way the outer knee flap is just looped into this little section here, that's pretty much the same way you would install or uninstall the Professor strap part here. So it's very easy to take on or off, and then you loop it through there, you bring it around, boom, and you got your Professor strap. And then, because I'm using the Professor strap, I took out the little Tune Fit strap here, just because it seems a little overkill to have both the Tune Fit and the Professor strap. But I haven't used these yet, so I don't know. This is kind of like my guess of my optimal strapping without using it, but hey, you can always change it as you go. So, and then you still have this, like I said, this is that permanent strap that comes across, and again, the boot strap. But this is how I plan to use it. You can do either what's on the other one, you can use this, you can do some kind of combination, like if you want both the Professor strap and the Tune Fit, you could do that. Or if you want this set up, but you want this across the knee, however configuration you want. Like I said, they give you options, and I think that's a good thing. I always like when they give you options. So I just wanted to get like the strapping out of the way and show you all the different options and stuff you can do with that. And that's not anything, that would be with the stock pad too. Like this isn't because I ordered a custom, whatever. That's just, you have these options with the stock Hyperlite pad. Like I said, really the only thing custom on these is the graphic coloring. It's not even a custom graphic because you could do digiprint graphic, but I didn't want to go that far again because I highly doubt this is gonna replace my Vaughn set, which I absolutely love. So I didn't want to go too overboard with the customization, seeing as how I'm probably not going to keep this like long term. But I did want to still do it in a Panther style coloring. So, and like I said, it still says Vapor, even though they mainly call it the Hyperlite pad now. They don't really, the word Vapor is not really in like the advertisements for it, or if you look online at whatever retailer you go to, it mainly just says Bauer Hyperlite now, but it's still a continuation of their Vapor line. They still put that on the pad. So what else about this pad? And like, how does it differentiate from the ultrasonic? So some of the main differences are it's a little more thinned out than the ultrasonic. The boot is softer, has a little more flex to it. I still wouldn't say it's like super soft. Like it's definitely not as soft as my Vaughn. And the just talking about the boot, it's not as soft or flexible is really what I'm trying to say, as even the true 12.2 set that I just did a video on. So this is their more flexible boot, but it's not crazy flexible. It's just more flexible than the ultrasonic. But even then, besides that, is the pad itself has more. I'm going to say it has more give, because it's kind of, when you say flex, you have to consider. There's like two things when you consider flex on a pad. It's what like literally can it do when a force is put on it, but then also how easy does it flex? Because like, yeah, you can technically, if you put a shitload of flex on or force on the pad, you can get just about any pad to show flex. But realistically, how easy is it going to flex when you're playing or whatever? Because you're not just going to be sitting there squishing down your pads while you're in the middle of a butterfly, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. When it's not black and white when you say flex, because it depends how you mean. So like with these, if you were to try to flex like an ultrasonic, it pretty much doesn't. Like if you put all your effort into it, yeah, you could probably get it to flex a little bit, but it's pretty rigid. It's if not the stiffest pad out there, like maybe second stiffest. I'm talking about the ultrasonic now. It's super stiff. So like the difference with this is it's still like a stiff pad normally without putting any kind of like pressure on it. Like when you're playing, it's not really going to be bending as you're playing it, because like I said, in the course of play, there's nothing pushing down on the pad. Like, yeah, when you rest or something, you're resting on top of your pad, that might be putting a force on it, but other than that, there's no force being applied to the top. The force is being applied to the knee block, the calf, when you're going down. It's being applied like this, not just straight down on the pad. So as you can see, yeah, I can get it to flex a lot. You see that? I mean, that's crazy flex, right? Especially if you have never seen the Vapor, or especially this Hyperlite pad in person, you probably have never seen a modern Bauer pad flex that much. But I mean, that's me putting force on it. I don't see how it's ever going to do that just while you're playing. So it's like, as I'm saying, it's like potential flex, but realistically, when is it ever going to do that unless you are putting your force on that? Whereas with my Vaughns, and part of it is with the Vaughns, I have a top strap on there that does pull it in. But even if I had a top strap on this, I don't even think, unless I put it super tight and then it would be uncomfortable, I don't even think the top strap would be able to really pull it in that much. It might pull it in like maybe that, but it's not gonna like do crazy flex on it, even though the pad itself is capable of that flex. So, but like, yeah, so like with my Vaughn pad, like the flex on that is pretty effortless. So I'm gonna show you real quick like the difference, because currently I don't always just have, I buy and sell gear, so I don't always have several sets, but it just so happens I do right now, so I'm able to kind of show you the difference. I'm gonna show you the difference in the flex between this Hyperlite, between the 12.2 True Pad, and between my V9 Vaughns. So first I'm going to start with the True Pad, because, and if you saw my review on this, it's super stiff. This is actually, I would say, the stiffest of these, even stiffer than the Hyperlite, which you might not think, or you might find surprising if you don't really know too much about these pads. So this is me trying to flex this one. Very little flex, right? And mainly it's coming from the one brake. Like, that's the thing. This at least even has a brake. The Hyperlites don't have a brake. So, an external brake. So, most of the flex that I can even do with this is coming from that one brake, but like the top part, the thigh, really doesn't flex. It's ridiculously stiff, more so than the Bauers. So to me, the 12.2 is the stiffest of these three. Then, as I just showed you, you got these Hyperlite pads, which has the potential to do this, but I still have to put a decent amount of force into it to be able to do it. It's just that the 12.2s don't even do that no matter how much force I put into it. And then you got the king of flex. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. If you are looking for a soft, flexible pad, you just can't beat Vaughn. But not everyone's looking for that, and in fact, most goalies aren't looking for that. But this is like a freaking accordion. You know, like the boot is just crazy flexible. The top part is crazy flexible, and it's like it really doesn't even take much of anything, and it'll almost like keep that shape for a while before going back to its. I mean, not that this is a straight pad; it does have a nice S curve to it, but it won't stay this curved all the time. Like it's like that now because I squished it down. You give it a little time, it'll straighten out a bit. And like I said, I have this top strap that does help pull it in a little bit. But this even a top strap on these the Bauer or the 12.2s, it wouldn't have the same effect because it's just not as crazy, easily soft, bendable, whatever as this. So I just wanted to show you kind of the differences between that, but let's get back to this video is about the Hyperlite. So I showed you the strapping, different ways you can do that. Talked about the flex of the pad, that, you know, it's more flexible than an ultrasonic, but I still wouldn't say it's a flexible pad in general. And what else? Okay, so I said another difference is between this and the ultrasonic is the I said it's thinner. And then so let's talk about this this knee block. And now this is like Bauer's newest big thing they've come out with the ultrasonic and the Hyperlite line. So with the ultrasonic, you get the Slide, I believe it's called. And in the Hyperlite, it's called Flex. They're very similar, slightly different. I'll show you what the difference is. But the idea behind them is the same, basically, where it's basically you have a one-piece knee block now. Whereas with, you know, the True, it's a separate piece. It's not built into the pad, and as you can see, it has a lot of give to it. There's a lot of play in this one, and then even with the Vaughns have crazy play in the knee block. I mean, you can really move this thing around. It's loose, but they're all not part of the main body of the pad. It's a separate piece that's attached via a cord, sewn in, however different companies do that. But what Bauer's done now with this is it goes into the pad and it's attached. There's like an L bracket thing going into the pad that holds it. So it's like basically a part of the body of the pad now. So it is super solid. Now with the ultrasonic pad, their Slide one is like almost doesn't move at all. With the Hyperlite, their Flex has a little slight give. You can see it's slightly, if you really put it, has a slight give. But if you compare it to almost any other pad other than the ultrasonic, this is the next stiffest knee block I think out there besides the ultrasonic. And so what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to help with like energy transfer when your knee is pushing down. It helps push the whole pad down because you don't have that extra play now where your knee pushes and maybe this gives a little and then the rest of the pad goes down. With this, the idea behind it is as soon as you apply that force, the whole pad is going down. So it's basically, the idea behind it is that you seal the ice quicker. Again, I haven't used these yet. I can't say if that actually works or if it's just a gimmick, but that's the idea behind it. And it makes sense to me. And even before this came out, I've kind of thought that in the past, especially with the Vaughns. I mean, as you know, I love my Vaughns, but I do think their knee, if there's any like small criticisms I have about my Vaughn thing, one thing I would like to see them do is kind of tighten up that knee block a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be like this where it's super stiff and doesn't move, but there's a lot of play with that Vaughn knee block, and I think they could make it a little less. So that's probably the thing I'm most interested in seeing how it is on these pads, is this Flex knee block. And then what they also have, and I've talked about this in other videos with other pads, and just about every brand has this now, is this calf pillow. But this one is huge. This is probably the biggest calf pillow I've come across. So as you can see it, this whole thing is the calf pillow. This whole big piece, that's all the calf pillow. So it does have a Velcro part on the front, but closer to the leg channel, it's actually sewn in. So I'm not sure really what the purpose of having Velcro on the outer part is when you can't completely remove it anyway. But I mean, I wouldn't remove it anyway, but still, it's kind of weird that a pad that gives you so many options and other things doesn't let you completely take that out if you wanted to. Not that I really know why you'd want to, but hey, maybe you would. But yeah, so this is a good sized calf pillow, and if you saw my review of the 12.2 pad, one of the things I said about that is while that did have a calf pillow, it was pretty puny, and it almost like you don't even notice it really. It's kind of not effective with that one because of how small it is. So this one we'll see. You know, I've heard good things about it. I've heard you really do notice this calf pillow, and what that's supposed to do is just help stabilize your leg, help stabilize you and your movements on the ice. But that's another thing that, you know, like I said, well, while other pads do have the calf pillow, with Bauer, it seems like they've really gone all in on it, and this is about the biggest calf pillow I've seen. So, you know, in general, when I first opened the box with these, and even with, you know, if you see my videos in the past on the 1S and the 2S, I think Bauer is just really killing it with like innovation and just thinking outside the box and trying new things, like more so than any other company. I think they're really willing to like go out there and put out new stuff, new technology. They're on the cutting edge of goalie equipment, and I have to give them props for that. You know, they still have that stigma of the quality, which, you know, I firmly believe they have improved on the quality from, especially from the 1S. The 1S was a disaster. I'm not going to argue with anybody on that. The 1S was a total disaster. The quality, as far as the quality goes, the innovation on it was cool, but the quality of the 1S was complete garbage. So I'm not going to argue with that. But since then, they've been slowly improving it, and up till now, it's pretty decent. It's still not like I'm not going to say it's as good as some of these North American made pads like Brian's, Vaughn, Fave, True, whatever. You know, I'm not going to say it's as good at that level yet, but I would say it's at least at an acceptable level. Whereas like when their 1S stuff came out, that just wasn't an acceptable level of quality for a pro level pad, even at retail. So I'm still going to say, from what I've experienced with some of their other lines past the 1S, is that, you know, they have improved on it, but I do get that there's still that stigma, and a lot of people won't even give this brand, this line, whatever, a chance because of that. And I think if you don't even, or if you're not even willing to give it a chance, you know, you're missing out on a lot of cool things. Especially if this style of pad is something that fits you. I just really love what I see. Like I said, what I see out of Bauer from just the technical or technology standpoint, and the things they're doing. Like out of any current pad, like, okay, so let me say this. Like, to me, it almost seems like they're like futuristic pads. Like if you took every manufacturer's current line and brought it like 10 years, let's say, in the past, and you showed it to people. Most of the other stuff, like the True and even my Vaughns, which I love, it's not gonna like completely surprise somebody from 10 years ago. It's still gonna look basically like what the pads were then. Like there's some changes, you know, maybe it's thinner, or, you know, the lack of the leather strapping, some minor stuff like that. But in general, the whole pad, if you showed somebody from 10 years ago that, they'd be like, oh yeah, it's whatever, it's a goalie pad, whatever. It'd be a few minor things, but it's not crazy. But I think like if you went back 10 years and showed somebody this Bauer stuff, and even with the glove and blocker, I'll show you in a minute, you know, they'd probably be like, what the hell is it? Like, this is completely out there. And like I'm saying, that's what I have to give props, and I really like what Bauer's doing with that. Is like, they're just out there, man. They're willing to do new things, put out new technology, and I really like that about them. I mean, you know, with the knee block, with the this Cortec or whatever they call it, skin that they put that they can digiprint on, that like, while I think CCM's eFlex 5 is able to be printed on, and you've seen like some pros and higher level people have it, I don't believe it's available to retail to us yet. So even now, this is the only pad really, as far as the major manufacturers that offer the printing on it. So again, like, you take this back 10 years, that was unheard of. Nobody thought about that 10 years ago. Just how crazy light these are, how crazy thin they are. The rebounds they give off. And again, I'm speaking in generalities. I haven't used these specifically, but there's nothing about these I would think that would be that different from other Bauer pads I've used in the past as far as like rebounds, stuff like that. I mean, everything I've heard about these is they give off good rebounds too. But yeah, these are just all things like that. Bauer has like innovated, and even some of these things still nobody else is doing. So I just think they're really cool in that respect. And like I understand the whole issue of quality, and I will say, like, if you're somebody who you're really like scraping your money together, like you're on your last dime to trying to afford Goldie gear, and like you really just need it to last because it's not like you can afford to get new gear in like a year or two, then I get it. I would say, yeah, okay, maybe then don't get, just based on that, don't get Bauer. Get something that 100%, or nothing's 100%, but most likely it's going to last longer. But other than that case, I think it's a mistake for people to just sleep on Bauer and not at least give them a try, not at least look into it, because of the things they're doing with the gear. So those are the leg pads. Let's move on to the blocker. Now, I've long said and said in many videos that I think Bauer makes the best blocker. I've used their 2S blocker. I don't think I used the 1S, but I used the 2S blocker, and I absolutely loved it. And so the Vapor, or now Hyperlite line, it's pretty similar, but there are a few differences. It's a little like thinner. You can see how thin this is. The ultrasonic blocker is a little thicker. I still wouldn't call it like thick in general. It's just thicker than this, but this is super, because this is just ridiculously thin, which I actually like, because it's while being thin, it's still got that rigidity to it. It's super hard. I definitely think the rebounds are still going to fly off this like they did with the 2S one I tried. So it's a lot of the same stuff I liked when I tried the 2S blocker that I thought at the time was the best blocker I've ever used. So I really anticipate loving this blocker. It's got the one piece hard sidewall that I love, and just in general, it just feels super comfortable. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of laughing because it's like a weird thing. I don't know, I feel weird saying this about a blocker. It's kind of dumb, but I don't know, like I just stick my hand in this thing and it literally feels like somebody cut a slit in a pillow or something and I stuck my hand in a pillow, and it does literally have like pillowy padding on the back for your backhand. But yeah, it just feels super comfortable on my hand. Like, this is, besides just what I've loved in the past about Bauer blockers, this just feels so comfortable. And then, so the only thing you have to adjust on this is it has this one Velcro strap, and that's about it. So it's pretty easy. There's not much to do with it. It's got this molded foam piece for the cuff, but in general, it feels a lot like the 2S blocker that I use. But I think I actually might like this better, like I said, because it's thinned out, and it actually feels a little more comfortable just with that really plush backhand padding there. Yeah, and the palm feels comfortable. There's nothing that feels tight like I've experienced with some other blockers. Feels pretty good out of the box. So I anticipate really liking this blocker, and I've been saying already for a while that Bauer makes the best blockers. So yeah, this is the blocker. Now on to the glove. The glove I was pretty happy with out of the box based on its game readiness. And as I've said in a lot of other videos, a lot of companies claim game ready, and you take it out of the box and it's not something you would use in a game. So why would you call that game ready when it's not actually game ready when you get it? This, game ready. If anything, the only thing I would want to do is get it so it like stays, it's a little more open just naturally, whereas this is about its natural closure. I like my gloves to be as open wide as possible, as pancake looking as possible. So this is me after I kind of stretch it out a little bit. Like that's what I like. If I don't do anything to it, it'll kind of settle back to like something like that. So closure is not a problem. I just have to kind of work on opening up, which is it's not a big deal. I've done that with plenty of other gloves. That's definitely easier in my experience than having to work it in as far as closure goes. But like, um, I've said before I ever put this glove on my hand that Warrior is the most legit game ready glove I've ever had out of the box. But this is, it's hard for me to compare right now because it's been a while since I've used that Warrior glove. So I would say it's at least on par, if not better. I mean, maybe the Warrior is still a little better. I really need to have the Warrior and this side by side and it's real close and put it on my hand. But I would legitimately call this game ready. Just like the Warrior, I would legitimately call game ready. And that's about the only two gloves I've tried that I would legit call game ready, even though everyone offers a game ready glove. And I'm including my Vaughn in this too. My Vaughn was pretty close to being game ready out of the box, but I did have to work on it a little bit. But like this is awesome. I absolutely love how easy this is to close. So blown away by that out of the box. I had the 2S glove, and I actually did try a 2X glove. That's the only vapor line thing that I've ever had before this Hyperlite set. Was I did have the 2X glove, and I did like that one. But this is even better, and not only about with the closure, but it just feels like, I don't know, thinned out, lighter. It just even feels better than the 2X. And like another thing I've noticed too is like with the 2X, it was a shallower palm, and by that I mean, so this palm kind of goes in more. So this is the, it's a one piece glove. This is the cuff. So this is flat, but then it goes in deeper, and then it goes to the top, goes to the pocket. And when a glove is shaped like this, what that'll do is it'll funnel pucks to that pocket and really help with catching. Whereas if you have a shallow glove, meaning this palm is more level, it's never completely level with the cuff, but it's more level than this is. Then you're gonna have to be more exact with that glove. Now, if you're like a pro or whatever, it probably doesn't matter because you're pretty good at always catching the puck in the pocket. But the more of an amateur you are, beer league guys, we don't always get it just right where we're aiming, or we've got our pocket where the puck is. A lot of times it's going to hit around here, and if you have a shallow palm, that's just going to come right out. Whereas when it's deeper like this, you have more of a chance of it funneling it into the pocket. So I like how that's different than the 2X glove I had was. Because while the 2X glove I had felt good because it was a 590 break, this is a 590 break, I did notice that sometimes I would have trouble catching pucks, especially if it hit that area. So I feel like, again, I haven't used this, but I feel like this is going to be an improvement just by that shape. And that's the same thing like with my Vaughn glove, which I really like, has this more of a concave, I believe is the term, palm to the glove. So it'll funnel the pucks into the pocket. Other than that, the backhand of it and the strapping is pretty similar from what I remember to the 2X, and pretty similar to a lot of other gloves. I mean, you open it up, you got a couple straps on the backhand here and the wrist that you can adjust, and then you just close it up. Two other outer part besides that, two outer like covers, I don't know how else you want to call it, these two sections here you velcro up, and that's it. Pretty standard, nothing crazy with that. The only difference is, or not difference, but the only thing I would say that I do like a little better when I had my 2S glove was on this part of the wrist was more, it wasn't just like attached completely to this. It was attached with elastic, so it had more give to it. So, I mean, not that, this doesn't feel like necessarily it's going to be a problem, but I do like having more give on that backhand part, and I like how the 2S did that. I'm not, You know, I haven't seen an ultrasonic glove yet, so off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you if the ultrasonic still has that like the 2S did. But I like that about the 2S. Although I pretty much didn't like anything else about the 2S glove. I like the 2X better, but I did like that on the like the back cuff part had that elastic that had a little more give, so you can have a little more flexion on your hand. But we'll see. You know, haven't used this yet. Maybe it won't really be an issue or anything like that. But other than that, I'm really liking how this glove feels, how it closes out of the box. It's great. So like the glove and blocker, I don't see how I'm not gonna like it. I think that's something that I could actually use. There's very little doubt in my mind that I could actually use the glove and blocker as a main glove and blocker. It's just the leg pads, you know. It's like I said, it's like they're technically flexible, but in real world action, how much is it really going to flex? It's still not like my Vaughns that feel that comfortable. So I anticipate, I anticipate them feeling okay, but I don't think they're gonna feel like how I need a main leg pad set to feel for me, like how my Vaughns do, just because unless you're somehow putting that force on the top of the pad, it's really not gonna just naturally do that flex on its own. But at least it has more of a potential flex than the Trues did that I wasn't fond of how stiff they were. And if you saw my True review, you notice I said how I felt it was kind of a bad design to have this calf part and the knee block too close to each other. Whereas you can see on Bauer, they have a nice little gap here, and that allows some of that flex. Because even if your pad can flex, if that's touching, it's going to keep it from flexing because it's going to hit that part. But when you have a nice little gap there, it really allows it to flex more. So that was just something else I saw and wanted to add at the end of the video here. And then, if you're curious, these are size medium, which for Bauer, medium is 34+1, small is 33+1, large is 35+1, and you can figure out the rest from there, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's basically just like the out of the box first impressions. Look at this, basic look at this. I'm really excited to get this on the ice. Should be pretty soon. I'm gonna try. There's a pickup session tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do. So use these for the first time, and we'll see. I'm real excited to use these things. A lot of hype around these, and so keep an eye out. Obviously, I'll do, just like with all my other stuff, I'll do a review video after I've used this a bunch of times and really feel like I have a good idea of what they're about and how they operate on the ice. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. But thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.